Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Forman, and today we're going to talk about the Roger Hinds Nomad in Surftech Construction. Now, we have reviewed this board in Roger's hand-shaped, hand-built by one pair of hands construction, and great all-around board. Actually, it would be a super fun board to take on a trip. Like we wanted to just take one board and have it work in a variety of conditions, especially when you start tuning it with the different fin setups. But this is our first time reviewing the Surftech version of it in epoxy HD construction. So having ridden the same size Nomad in poly and then now riding it in Fusion HD is a great test, because we're able to test the shapes back and forth, the performance back and forth, the durability back and forth, and also the price back and forth. So let's dive into the Fusion HD Nomad. So this board from Roger Hinds, you can tell it's got a wider nose, wide point forward, kind of tapers off in the back, a little bit flatter rocker to it. And then it has a 5-fin setup. Roger says that you could ride this board either as a twin, a thruster, or a quad, all with this fin setup here, all the way up to 6/8. So there's no compromise the way that he's putting the boxes in up to 6/8. There's no compromise as to how you set up the board, and you could ride it any of those setups. With the Nomad, both in poly and this board, I tended to gravitate towards the quad. It does work in all the different fin setups, but in this board, the quad is kind of like what I settled on, both poly and in the Fusion HD, in the EPS epoxy construction. As far as the feel of the board, these are a little bit lighter, size per size, compared to the polys, and that is because of the EPS core is going to be lighter than a PU core. The construction of the board is very, very durable as far as the deck holding together and then also maintaining its flex. And that's what we found with the IPAs that were made in Fusion HD, is that it creates a very, very durable deck panel of the board. Like, you still get some heel dents in it, which is actually good for grip, but like the deck doesn't completely fall apart. If you were to build a poly at this same size and at this same weight, it would, over the amount of sessions that this board has, it would be like way more dented in and like bashed up than this board is, because the Fusion HD construction really holds together a lot better over time, both in deck durability and then also in the flex longevity, having that board spring back out of the turns. The Nomad in Surftech construction has that same really foiled out rail. So this board, like holding this board on the rail and then looking at the dimensions, you're almost like there's just no way that it can be, because this board, for the thickness, this is a 6/8, 21 3/4 by 3. And then when you look at this rail and feel this rail, this thing's like no more than 2.5, and actually even like a taper 2.5. And Roger really likes to pull a lot of that volume out of the rail. And so from the nose all the way back, these things are really, really foiled out. And that makes them really easy to get on rail. And also, whether it be like engaging in the top of the wave right off the takeoff, or at speed, controlling your speed, or like putting the whole rail in through like full rail carves on the wave, just makes it really easy to control the speed that this board can generate. As far as like the performance, like I was using this board like in gravel conditions. I was also using it as like an only board in the car, which it actually does really well for that, because you can use it in small waves, you can use it in better waves. Like you can kind of, anything that you throw at it, it's gonna work well. Like it has the lightness and the spring, and also obviously the area and the flatness to work in small waves. And then in better waves, like having that thinner rail and then having the ability to use the quad setup really extends the performance range of the board. So it's the Nomad from Roger Hinds in Fusion HD epoxy, built by Surftech. If you have any questions on the Roger Hinds Nomad, or you'd like to place an order for one, you can always give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.